definitely us as brands' responsibility to make our spirit and our brand inclusive, transparent and accessible to everyone. Doesn't matter whether you're a small or big brand, the responsibility is the same. And in the gin boom that we've enjoyed over the last few years, gin has become much more accessible to everyone. And the whiskey industry certainly is still very much in quite a narrow channel of focus, and so in terms of the audience. And so our job and what we really strive for is not only to champion New Old Whiskey, to champion London Rye, to champion London Whiskey, but also to take our gin lovers who are drinking our gin, drinking our rum, drinking our vodka, bring them on that journey with us for them to explore a new category, not because they like whiskey necessarily, but because they love what we do and they trust that what we put in a bottle is going to taste good. And so what has been particularly rewarding in this journey of whiskey making, which we as a young brand is relatively new at, is that not only are veteran whiskey experts and whiskey drinkers enjoying our liquid, but they're also complete novices who have just been drinking gin for the last 20 years or 10 years or 5 years and now suddenly coming in and asking for our whiskey. We don't have perfect service with our spirits. We try very hard not to be prescriptive about how you drink what we make. We want you to have the freedom to do what you think is best, drink it how you like. We're not precious about our whiskies being served neat or on the rocks. If you want to make a Manhattan out of our London Rye, knock yourself out. It does make a wonderful rye Manhattan. But equally, if you want an entry into what we're doing, our whiskey tour will give you samples of our whiskies and other brands' whiskies as well, where you can get a really good sense of New Old whiskies and what's out there. Ooh, what do we have here?
Ooh.
Well, yeah.
Smells like sour cherry gummies.
Stewed cherries.
Candied orange peel.
Bit of leather too.
Like Granny Smith Athol.
Cloves. Like burnt coffee.
A desk drawer.
Really?
Baked fruit, probably baked pears, I reckon.
How does this taste? Okay.
Szechuan peppers, that tingling sensation.
Bit of tobacco at the end, and then
Ginger nuts.
A little hint of vanilla.
Bird's eye chili, that little, and apple crumble.
How do I drink it? In the bath?
Smash it over the rocks.
Sazerac all the way.
I would love this in an old fashioned.
Cheers.
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 Great whiskey.
I'm Andy Mooney, and I am the whiskey distiller at East London Liquor Company. Our London Rye is made up of 42% malted rye and 58% malted barley. So we're using a combination of ale yeast and M1 whiskey distilling yeast. We're using the ale yeast to introduce some flavour, and we're using the M1 distilling yeast in order to achieve higher alcohol yield. So our London Rye is distilled in a combination of double pot still as well as column still. So we use double pot still whiskies as well as column still whiskies in order to achieve rich, oily, fatty flavours with heavy alcohols in the double pot still, and then we also achieve lighter, thinner alcohols in the column still. These are then combined in order to achieve our flavour profile. So it's aged in virgin French oak, chestnut, STR and ex-bourbon for a total of 3.5 to 4 years. Virgin French oak is to help drive the rye spice, and what this also does is it introduces some vanilla and some caramel flavours. The chestnut helps add in and intensify our chocolate notes, but also add in coffee flavours. The STR, which are shaved, toasted and recharred ex-sherry casks, help to give some fruits as well as a smoky kind of charred finish. The ex-bourbon is used just to mellow our whiskey and let it rest until bottling. So our whiskey is 47.2%. It's absolutely banging with flavour. You can drink it neat, you can drink it in a cocktail, drink it whatever way you want. So what we're trying to achieve with our whiskey is we're trying to show that every component of the whiskey matters, right down to the grain that we're using, to the yeast, to the distillation style, to the wood we age it in, as well as the final ABV that's chosen. Our distillery also imparts unique characteristics on our whiskey. We always end up with notes of chocolate, notes of biscuits. If you can think chocolate hobnobs, that's what you get when you come to our distillery. So on behalf of Tom, Caitlin, Sam, Chris and I'd just like to wish you guys sláinte, enjoy a whiskey, and thanks for tuning in. Oh, I looked at the camera. Instead of looking at you.
So wheat whiskey.
Whiskey.
And this is the wheat, by the way.
I think this smells like
Some hay.
fresh pineapple.
Like a jasmine-y, orange blossomy note on the nose.
Really ripe, fresh lemon on the nose.
Like green dirt,
Dr. Pepper for sure.
eucalyptusy.
Beautiful floral honey notes.
It's almost like a nutty note on there as well.
Yeah, let me taste it. I think it tastes like peanut butter for
A
sure.
bit like butterscotch.
The top of a creme brulee.
Very much honey.
Hay.
Spice like chilies. You can think habanero chilies.
Saline, spicy note of a green pepper in there.
Roasted nuts. It's like a bitter green finish.
Banging.
I would drink this literally like this in a glass, no ice.
No ice, straight up neat in the glass.
Just on its own. Just neat.
I love a good old fashioned.
I mean, neat.
Cheers.
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 Cheers.